I memorized 250 pages of the Quran in 18 months. If you think that required some kind of photographic memory or a head start from childhood, you'd be wrong. I had zero natural advantage. I started exactly where you probably are right now. I was an average university student, completely embedded in the daily grind of a standard Western schedule. I didn't grow up in a traditional environment that trained me to memorize anything. When you start a massive goal like this, the default strategy is usually brute force. You watch an inspiring video, you pump yourself up with sheer discipline, and you memorize aggressively for a few weeks. But human willpower is finite. You eventually hit a wall, burn out, and crash right back down to zero. This erratic cycle halts your physical progress while building a damaging internal narrative. You start telling yourself that the process is too hard or that your memory is flawed. You believe you simply aren't built for it. But the flaw isn't in your biology. Relying on raw motivation without a concrete system guarantees you will eventually quit. Consistency over years always beats intensity over weeks. The real obstacle to holding on to hundreds of pages isn't the text itself, it's the environment we live in. We are surrounded by an economy designed to farm our attention through constant, cheap novelty. Years of endless scrolling, rapid task switching, and viral clips have systematically untrained our minds. We've lost the basic human ability to sit quietly in a room, entirely unstimulated, and delay our gratification. Taking on a project of this scale acts as a cognitive rehabilitation. It is a physical retraining of the brain's capacity for focus, reaching far beyond simple recitation. This requires a deliberate detox. You have to install the screen blockers, delete the social apps that constantly pull your focus, and force yourself to sit still for extended periods. You cannot pour a demanding, long-term discipline into a fractured attention span. You have to reshape your daily habits and your baseline personality before you can expect your memory to hold anything of value. Once the environment is controlled, the actual mechanics of memorization begin long before you open a book. It starts with passive preloading. I would loop the audio of my specific target page on repeat while walking, eating, and going about my day. By the time I actually sat down to learn that page, my subconscious was already intimately familiar with the vocabulary and the rhythm. A page that would normally take hours to secure could be locked in entirely in half the time. Then comes the active work. To conquer a page of dense text, you have to build a solid first layer. Many people feel embarrassed if they have to repeat a line dozens of times, assuming it means they're slow. But heavy repetition is the strict mechanical requirement for permanent retention. Here is the exact method. Isolate a half page. Read it over and over while looking, without even trying to memorize it yet. Then, learn the first verse. Move to the second. But before you move to the third, you tie it directly to the beginning, reciting from the absolute start to your current point in an unbroken chain. And there is one non-negotiable rule. You do not close the session and you do not go to sleep until you can run through that newly built sequence flawlessly from memory. As your page count grows, finding time to review becomes your primary bottleneck. The solution is right in your daily routine. The average American spends 1 to 2 hours a day commuting. If you transform your car into a dedicated revision chamber, the math shifts entirely in your favor. That dead time instantly generates 5 to 7 hours of high-yield review every single week, and it costs you absolutely zero time from your work, school, or family. You don't need to quit your job or retreat from society to achieve this. You just need to ruthlessly optimize the hidden, unused pockets of your normal day. Eventually, adding new lines becomes the easiest part of the process. The actual test, the thing that crushes most people, is the relentless burden of holding on to what you've already learned. There will be days when you return to a section you thought you knew perfectly, only to find it has completely slipped from your mind. The psychological weight of that lost work brings an intense wave of self-doubt. You will question why you even started. The internet loves to broadcast a straight line of perfect daily progress, but reality is messy. Falling off the routine, stopping for weeks, and forgetting entire chapters is a completely normal part of the process. Success doesn't come from a flawless streak. The single most important survival skill is your willingness to come back to the system, sit down, and try again immediately after a massive failure. When you zoom out and look at the total scope of your life, the friction makes sense. Think about your final moments. No one reaches the end of their life wishing they had spent an extra 12 years scrolling through a screen. But the grueling, quiet hours you spend securing this text in your mind will be something you hold on to forever. The ambition is already there. Stop waiting for a magical surge of inspiration and start changing your daily system today.